We've seen a lot of big trades and free agency signings in the NFL recently, so I wanted to rank my top new quarterback wide receiver duo. So that's what we're doing today. If you guys like my content, make sure you like and subscribe, and let's hop into it. It wasn't worth my time talking about new duos like Nick Foles and Allen Robinson, so we're starting it off with the 7th ranked Indianapolis Colts duo of Philip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton. Now, I really struggle with this list as they're all pretty close, but given I'm basing it off my predictions for next season, with Philip Rivers clearly on the decline at 38 years old, and T.Y. having a career low year, dealing with some injuries, I just don't see a great passing game for the Colts next season. If I was a Colts fan, I would have loved to see them look to the draft for a quarterback, which is really what I thought they would do. We were hearing a lot of rumblings of interest in prospects like Jordan Love, but instead decided to sign a 38-year-old. Then we've got DJ Moore and Teddy Bridgewater of the Carolina Panthers. This is a duo I think could prove to be much higher than this ranking. I just haven't seen enough to have much confidence. Bridgewater's free agency value is coming from a 5-game stretch as the starter. While he played great, they went 5-0. I just can't see him being more than just a game manager. Now that's fine. This offense is built around Christian McCaffrey, but that is going to reflect in these rankings. I also really like DJ Moore. In just his second season, he went for almost 1,200 yards, but I really want to see him get into the end zone more. Now, the next duo's placement might be pretty controversial, and that's Joe Burrow and AJ Green of the Bengals. Now, this duo might not actually happen, but come on, as of right now, it's fair to assume Joe Burrow is the future quarterback for the Bengals. This is an extremely bold placement for a rookie quarterback and a wide receiver that didn't play a single snap last season, but as I said, this is my opinions and predictions. I'm very, very confident in Joe Burrow. I think he's the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, and I don't see too much of a debate there. He just wrapped up one of the best college seasons in the history of the sport. I'm not necessarily ecstatic that he has to go to a dumpster fire like the Cincinnati Bengals, but really believe if they can just tone down the incompetence just a tiny bit, Joe Burrow has the talent to turn this franchise around over the next decades. I also think a lot of people forget about the weapons that he's going to have, such as Joe Mixon, John Ross, Tyler Boyd, and the other half of this duo, AJ Green. Since 2011, he's had 6 1,000-yard seasons, and if healthy, could really be a top receiver in the league. Then we've got Deshaun Watson and Brandon Cooks of the Houston Texans. I am very high on Deshaun Watson going into the future and was really excited to see what he could do alongside DeAndre Hopkins, and obviously that's not going to happen anymore, but luckily they were able to give him a decent replacement in Brandon Cooks. And while this duo could definitely prove to be much higher than this ranking, I had to have them here after a disappointing season from Brandon Cooks where he went for just 580 yards. Then we've got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs of the Minnesota Vikings. Now keep in mind that these rankings would be a lot different if we were going based solely on what we saw this past year. Josh Allen is quickly proving to be one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL, as in only his second season, he threw for over 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns to go along with over 500 yards and 9 touchdowns on the ground. He didn't have much to throw to this past year aside from John Brown, but the Bills went out and gave him a #1 guy in Diggs, who had a career high over 1,100 yards this past season. Really excited to see what this duo does next year. Then we've got one of the most talked about duos so far, and that's Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. Now I thought about putting them at the #1 spot. I just need to see a little bit more from Kyler Murray, but I'm still super high on this duo and the Cardinal offense as a whole going into next year. Obviously, this ranking is backed by future Hall of Famer playing in his prime right now, DeAndre Hopkins, but really think if Kyler doesn't have to deal with pressure at all times every game, he can really live up to the expectations given when he was the #1 pick. At #1, we've got Tom Brady and either Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. Now, Tom Brady is clearly not the quarterback he once was, given his age, but I've learned not to count him out. He's only a year removed from a Super Bowl, and because he has 2 elite receivers, that makes it tough to decide what the quote-unquote duo for this team is. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Godwin was one of the best slot receivers in the league this past year, going for over 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns, while Evans is still one of the top jump ball receivers in the NFL and a quarterback's best friend. Last season, in just 13 games, going for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. So that's what I have at #1. These were just my opinions. You guys tell me your thoughts, your rankings in the comments below. And if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And peace.